Okay, welcome everybody. Are we having a great day and ready for an awesome presentation if I don't knock you out? Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Can we hear a big woo-hoo from everyone? Woo-hoo! I want to welcome all of you here today to Office Centers and Virtual Office Centers for our awesome Power Lunch. I'm Lisa Olsonowski, and I'm thrilled to welcome all of you here at International Plaza, as well as all of our other locations. I am especially thrilled for this unbelievably awesome presentation that we get to see from our valued client, Anthony Verdani. I am thrilled to also have the opportunity and honor to introduce him. Anthony Verdani is a human potential specialist, and he is the not-so-normal therapist. And how many can vouch for that? Not-so-normal therapist. This is also the name of his podcast, which he started last August. You can find it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Stitchers. Anthony earned his master's degree in psychology from Alfred Adler Graduate School. In his private practice here at International Plaza, he uses his training in hypnotherapy, NLP, which I had to look up, also known as neuro-linguistic programming, and enneagrams to provide brief change work for real and lasting change. These approaches are built upon the philosophical foundation of the Adlerian philosophy. He provides both in-person sessions as well as video coaching calls. He's the co-author of a fantastically wonderful and stupendous book, not quite but almost a bestseller, HD Mindset. And do we all get copies of that today, Anthony?
Yes.
Is that another big woohoo? Yeah. Finally, he presents to companies, organizations, and churches, and keynote presentation entitled Living Beyond Limitations, as well as other talks like this one today. With that, please all help me in welcoming Anthony! Here we go.
Okay, everybody stand up. You don't have to dance, but just stand up and move your body. You can't hear it, but the song Happy is on. You can't hear it, but the Happy song is on. Lisa's dancing back there. Okay, sit down. Keep it down just for a second. Is everybody smiling in their seat? You have no idea how I'm containing myself right now. Staring, you're dancing. Now, why the heck would I play that song? I played that song, it was more for me than it was for you. And it illustrates something, too, that I'll get to a little bit later. So if I forget, somebody, Steve, remind me why I played that song if I don't get back to it, okay? Awesome. Well, the magic of belief. I'm excited about sharing this. It's truly a passion of my heart. It's what I do not only for a living, but it's really what I've been on the pursuit of really my whole life. I've always been fascinated with the mind, fascinated with human behavior. It wasn't until later in my life that I actually pursued it intentionally and really learned more about it. That's why I studied NLP, and that led me to hypnosis. Then I got my master's at, like she said, at Adler Graduate School. So everything I do really is based on the foundation of Adlerian psychology and the Enneagram, which I won't have time to talk to today, although you won't know it, you're going to get a flavor of it, a little bit of what the Enneagram teaches. And I can't explain that to you, so you might want to ask later. We're going to have a little question and answer time. So if I go up that, is that too far?
A little bit.
Okay, too far. We have two cameras going right now, so I'm trying to keep myself there. And I'm trying to keep setting on that one too. So magic of belief. When you guys think of magic, what do you guys think of? What comes to your mind? By the way, when I ask a question, generally when a person asks a question, what happens naturally is to get a response. Okay? So when you think of magic, just first thing that comes to your mind. Anybody?
Fairy godmother.
Magician. Say that again.
Fairy godmother.
Fairy godmother.
Tricks.
Tricks. Wow.
David Blaine.
David Blaine, dude, he's the raw. Oh, I love that guy. Now let's go really specific. When you think about magic, give me words to describe them.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. What else?
Mystical.
Mystical. Amazing. Keep going. You guys are on a roll.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Surprising.
Wow,
Yeah,
surprising. Literally every single one of those things is what reminds me of the genius capacity of your minds, in my mind. When I was growing up, since I was 9 years old, I studied magic, and I pretty much taught myself through books and actually we didn't have videos, it was through books and people teaching me, going to clubs and stuff like that. And I was fascinated, still am, I love magic. And when I started working with people, literally, guys, it's the closest thing I've ever come to real magic. And you guys know I do hypnosis. How many people here have ever experienced hypnosis? How many people here came here, honestly, don't lie to me, with a negative predisposition of hypnosis? Okay, you can leave, seriously. It's okay. No. So what you're gonna hear about and see is the natural human phenomena of your mind. Your mind acts and behaves very, very specifically. It's why what I do works. And I always tell my clients, I say, you know, it doesn't really work. And they're like, what? I said, it's because your mind works. Your mind and my mind works very specifically in very specific ways. But what's this big deal about belief? I believe with all my heart, no pun intended, but it truly is my conviction. It's not just a belief, it's moved from belief. If you read our book, we talk about this. It's not just a belief, but it goes to a knowing. And I forgot to wear my lavalier mic. Wow, I just realized that. So I hope you can hear me over there. But seriously, when you know something, then you respond accordingly. And that's what the magic of belief really is all about. If you think about it, belief is like Google Maps. When you form a belief, it gets you from point A to point B. It tells you exactly how to get there. So it's the data that you put in that determines the application telling you where to go. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So the belief that you put into that, it'll tell you where to go, and it'll do it the same way every time. And I hate to do this to my daughter-in-law, but I always share this illustration because it perfectly illustrates it. She was 15 and a half years old. They were married, happily married with 2 kids. I have 2 grandsons, grandkids by them. And when she just got her driver's license, we were at my son, where my son was living, my ex was, and everything, all that, and we left to go to the rec center for hockey. And we're there for like over a half hour. I'm like, John, my other son, like, something happened to Leah. And so found out when she showed up, she had to go all the way back to the house where she grew up, you know, her house, and then drive all the way back to the rec center. It was like 30 miles out of her way. Why? That's the only way she knew how to get there. Folks, that's exactly what your beliefs do. That's why it truly is the magic of belief. And it always starts with belief. As a matter of fact, with belief, you can literally defy science. You can literally defy the laws of physics. With belief, you can accomplish and create that which you didn't even think you were capable of doing. That's how powerful belief is. But that's true both ways. Now think about that. I always say, and we talk about this in our book as well, that faith and fear both create. And I use the word faith in substitution with belief. So belief and faith, fear, both create. Either you're creating in the future, tomorrow, 15 minutes from now, or you're creating by looking back. Perception when you're doing this is that you're standing still. And the reason why is because everything else keeps moving. So really everything is predicated on belief. You have a belief, it creates a perception. You have this perception, it creates a feeling. Bam, just like that. Now the moment I put that music on, what happened internally? Do you even know what happened internally? I know what it did to me, and by the way, that's the only reason why I played it. It wasn't even for you, it was selfish for me. Because I learned how to control my state. You have no control over my state. Someone in this office, I'm not going to say who, I'm walking by, and this person says to me, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Really?" It didn't bother me because I don't really care. I really don't get nervous before I speak. You know, I get kind of excited about that energy, but I use that nervous energy to empower me, not to put me down. So it was a perfect example I'm going to mention later of what she demonstrated, okay? But belief is everything. Now, had my belief coincided with that suggestion, which is nothing more than hypnotic suggestion this person gave me, if my belief was resonating with what she just said, my unconscious mind's job is to associate suggestion. So folks, listen to this. You are either your best or your worst hypnotist. You don't need somebody like me. You don't need to go to a stage show. You don't need anything. You are truly your best or your worst hypnotist. And you're constantly giving yourself suggestions that are in accordance with your belief. Now can you see why I call it the magic of belief? It truly is like magic. If you're able to, when you're able to shift a belief, you literally shift your perception, which shifts your feelings, which shifts your behavior, your action. And many times when you shift your behavior, your belief, it literally shifts your direction that you're going. So, true confessions. One thing I love about speaking in public and having clients, I just bear it all out so everybody can see. On my podcast, if you listen to it, you'll hear true confessions, folks. I just bear it all out there. So, a few months ago, actually, Sean Toth, if you're watching, a shout out. I promised I would say hi to you. He's in Virginia. We've known each other on Facebook, and we've had he's had a real influence on my life. And during that time talking, for whatever reason, out of nowhere, this unconscious belief came to my mind that I knew I was living by. And according to the Enneagram, I'm type 4. And it was so consistent with the lies I believed my whole life. And it's this, that you're going to die laughing because of what I do for a living. My belief was, if I have to shift my state, which starts with shifting my belief, then it's not authentic, and something's wrong with me. It should already be there. I guarantee you, most of you in this room have a form of that belief within you, in some fashion or some way. So that's really the first thing. The moment I was aware of that, for me, the shift of my belief was almost instantaneous because it so shocked me. I call it a pattern interrupt. It so shocked me that instantly I changed my belief. I said, no, what are you, I see it all the time. My perception changed, my feeling changed, and it's been completely different ever since. Okay? So the magic of belief. Belief truly is powerful, and you control that. So, you guys want to have a little fun with me?
Yes.
And I'm going to use and illustrate a little bit more. But what I want you to do is everybody relax, put your feet on the ground. I just want you to follow my directions and have fun, okay? But the way I want you to have fun is, you know that part of your mind that analyzes and rationalizes, it has to make sense. Like I have a whiteboard in my office. It's that part of your mind that has to kind of write down all the data on the board, right? Okay, I want you to take that mind and just put it aside for now. And I want you to imagine, actually, that you're like a little kid. You know how little kids are? They're full of what? Wonder and
Energy.
awe and energy. Yeah, and that energy is always going like this. They're like this. You ever see that? I watched my 2.5-year-old. He's awesome. And they're always creating. That's the state I want you to be in. So I want you to have fun like a little kid. And I want you to really engage your imagination. The cool thing is she's already there. That's freaking awesome. High five, girl. Bam! So I want you to engage your imagination. And I want you to engage that part of your mind that's your emotional mind, your imaginative mind, your creative mind, that's your unconscious mind. So I just want you to be there and just focus and just listen to what I'm saying. It's not magical, it's not mystical. Just follow my directions, okay? And we'll start by making an okay sign. Can everybody make an okay sign? And just hold it right up in front of your face. And all I want you to do now is I want you to look at your finger and thumb. And I want you to just push out anything else around as if nobody else is there. And I was thinking about this, and what I want you to imagine, that feeling, that sense about you when you're looking at your computer screen really intently working on something. I want you to imagine, pretend that I'm not even here in this room. The person next to you is not there. Nothing's important but focusing on your finger and thumb. And now I want you just to notice and imagine that there's a glob of super glue between your finger and thumb. And as you imagine that glob of super glue between your finger and thumb, I want you to really focus on that and really imagine. And perhaps already you could begin to notice the warmth and the gooiness. It's the super glue that's gluey and tacky and sticky. Really, really super glue, really, really tight. And already maybe you might even be able to begin to notice that warm super glue, that sticky, tacky glue beginning to cool and harden. And as it cools and hardens, I'd like you to notice the finger and thumb, that glue beginning to set, squeezing that finger and thumb tighter and tighter together, because that's what glue does. And I want you to notice and begin to sense and feel and imagine that glue setting, locking, and sticking the finger and thumb together tighter and tighter and tighter. Matter of fact, it's sticking tighter and tighter and tighter, so that when you notice that it's stuck and locked down tighter and tighter, and you're absolutely certain that that finger and thumb is set in place by that glue, you can try to separate and find that you can't. Really try hard to separate and notice how glued, stuck down tighter and tighter they are. And the harder you try to separate your fingers, you'll notice they stick tighter and tighter. Now really try hard. Now look at that finger, look at that thumb, and you can marvel, even begin to laugh. And the more you laugh about it, the tighter that finger and thumb begins to stick tighter and tighter and tighter. Now, whoever's finger, everybody in this room already knows, whoever's finger is stuck and locked down tight, hold that hand up proudly. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Now, those that have their hands up tight, I want you to look at your finger and thumb. Now watch this, everybody. I want you to look at your finger and thumb and really focus on it. Now I want you to stop pretending and stop imagining and notice how your fingers just automatically separate easily and effortlessly. That's okay. So just, there you go. That's awesome. Everybody give her a round of applause.
Wow.
You guys matter. And so you say, well, why do I do what I do? Because you're living out a belief. So I had people write down, I'll just pick one that I looked at. These are things that you guys wrote down. And so it's interesting. There's one here that I thought was hysterical. It's not hysterical, but I mean, it's so common. Where is it? Oh, it's upside down. Somebody wrote a fear of everything. I'm like, oh, I'm like, who wrote that? I want to talk to you. You know, but like, for example, how many people here, I could ask because we've all experienced this, the fear of failure. Okay. Fear of failure, just go backwards, for example. Belief dictates the direction that you're going, in essence. Google Maps, right? It's like, I don't have my glasses on, I have these click glasses. It's like putting glasses on, and then when you put the glasses on, you go, oh, it just distorts or changes what you're seeing through those glasses. That makes sense? That's what belief does. Just like an intelligent woman whose feet are stuck to the ground, hand to the head, and she can't even say her name, all within minutes. That's pretty amazing. Now, I wish I could take credit for that like I have some guru powers. It's not. I just know how to manipulate belief. A lot of people get upset when they hear manipulation. Folks, you do it all the time. Like, for example, some of you said, well, I could, you know, do this, and my fingers separated. Well, what you did was, everybody is suggestible. So all you showed was this little voice in the back of your head's going, go ahead. That's okay. Yeah, you can prove that you can move your hands. And you go, wow, good job. You gave yourself a suggestion, and then you follow the suggestion. I'm just standing outside her doing the same exact thing. Again, you're either your best or your worst hypnotist. Do you understand that? I really hope you do. So you have a behavior, whatever, there's usually, well, this is nothing more than a belief. People say it's a feeling, and it is, but it's a belief. There's a belief attached to that. So I wonder what would happen if you manipulated your own thoughts. That's the problem. Beliefs often stick around and actually manifest worse and worse behavior and feelings and so forth because we never do anything. We're passive thinkers. Unless you're actively thinking and thinking new thoughts about thoughts that are there, that, by the way, a lot of those probably aren't even your own thoughts. That's a whole other discussion. But unless you're actively thinking, you're literally living like a victim. So I want to challenge everybody. You'll hear this passion even more so on my podcast tomorrow. The title of my podcast is The Fastest Way to Stop Living Like a Victim. And the reason why I'm passionate about it is because I lived like a victim most of my life. Fate and just letting things happen. And that's a belief. And we live out our beliefs. So, fear of failure. that belief, that feeling, there's a quality about that feeling. I'll just use this as an example. You're seeing, hearing, maybe even smelling, tasting something. Usually it's an image that you have in your mind. So when it happens, here's what we normally do. Put your hand up. So we go like this, and I push. Now, I didn't even tell her to push back. What did she do? Now, go ahead now, do it even harder, okay? Now, I'm pushing hard, she's pushing with all her might, and her arms are not moving, right? It's staying still. Because we believe that when there's, oh, this feels so bad. Like as if it's going to kill you. It's a feeling. What we do is we push up against that feeling, and it stays there. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The third law. In the mind, there's a law of reverse effect. The harder I pay attention to it and try, the more of it I get. You want to dissipate a feeling? Pay attention to it. Acknowledge it. Be grateful for it. It's just a feeling. The cool thing is, as you notice the nature of that feeling, you could change the nature of the feeling. And then change the nature, the color, the shapes, the sensations, whatever it is in your mind concerning this. The moment you do it over and over again, you'll rewire the neural pathways. It's all I do with clients. And there's other things I do also, but in a very basic sense. Like, we don't have a lot of time to go in detail. But you have control over your thoughts, therefore you have control over your beliefs. When you're, how many people, well, actually this is a stupid question because we all do, even myself, but how many people are literally in sales? Not that they're selling their business, but literally selling a product of some nature. Okay, hold your hands up high. So almost everybody, literally, okay, cool. Do you or do you not influence your clients or your customers? I hope so. Or else you're not going to sell anything. It's all influence. That's all it is. So when I talk about manipulating belief, do you think belief is important? Yeah. If I'm trying to sell Ellie something and I could sense this pushback almost immediately before I even say anything, I could just sense it, and my sensory acuity is really good because I do that for a living. But when you develop a sensory acuity, in other words, really sensing the person's response, unconscious response to you, then you can manipulate their belief by how you speak to them. You pull back, you go forward, and I'm doing this metaphorically. So I go that, and then I go like this, dodge and weave. And so what I'm doing is I'm working with her belief, not my belief. The problem is if I approach her with my set of pre-set beliefs, fear, trepidation, a sense of less than. And here's a good one that I made a major change in my life because it was natural, because I love to live this way, and that is giving. In other words, moving with an attitude of belief that I'm going to give you more value than what I'm going to get from you making this sale. Now, did you feel the shift in my energy? I'm just pretending right now with her, and I could feel the energy shift in me. Your energy is not going anywhere. Well, whatever your energy is dictating the belief that you have. Folks, it's like magic. You shift a belief, you shift the direction, you shift the feelings, and then you change the behavior. So can you see why it's silly to just change behavior? Because if I change that behavior, guess what's going to happen? Not maybe or if. It's going to happen. What's going to happen? You'll develop a new behavior, a new path. It's like a river. So let me, this is where the Enneagram comes in real quick. So I'm going to illustrate to you. I'm just going to list off on top of my head. And I'm going to tell me what you think all of these have in common. Okay, I'll start at the top. I'm okay as long as everybody else is okay. I'm going to learn how to do it, and I'm going to do it right. I feel loved as long as I help others. I'm accepted, and I'm okay as long as I'm achieving and I'm doing. Something's missing in me. I've got to discover who I am. I've got to figure this out. Confessions. I got to gain more and more knowledge, because the more knowledge I gain, the better I am. You know, you can't really trust anything. You got to check and double check and triple check everything. I need a new adventure. It's like I'm not okay and I'm not secure, I'm not significant unless I find a new adventure. So I start one, then before it's over, I start another one. It's all about the adventure. I'm going to control you guys before you control me. What did I just illustrate? 9 different types. Those are all mistaken beliefs for the 9 different Enneagram types. And folks, most of you in this room, just like myself, are living out those beliefs. And there's different manifestations of those beliefs. You know what I'm saying? They kind of morph, you know, but we're living out those beliefs. And the reason why is it's an unconscious tape that's rolling. Your unconscious mind does not judge. It doesn't analyze. It just carries out its marching orders. Like the hard drive of your computer. You run the program, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to run. Am I right? It's exactly how your unconscious mind works. And it does it faithfully. Bad or good. As you define bad, and as you define good. Okay? And beliefs are very subtle. Now, the ones I just gave you, if it resonated, any of those, which one of those resonated with you, that means that's in one way or form, you're living out that belief. And it's a mistaken belief because guess what? It'll never happen. So like for me, if I always have this belief that something is missing, which is how I live my life the whole life, because that's the downside of my personality style, right? So if I'm living that way, that's a belief. That's a pretty powerful belief. The cool thing is, you know what the high side of that is? Compassion, sensitivity, emotional honesty. I forgot the other 2. That's my own. But so in other words, there's a high side, what I call your true essence. So the ultimate magic of your belief is stepping out of that fake suit of your personality and revealing to the world this beautiful person called you. See, it all starts with the belief, the magic of belief. And the faster, Alfred Adler says, the faster you acknowledge that felt inferiority, which is really mistaken beliefs, the faster you can move in a more authentic, healthy, free way. It's being in the flow. And there is nothing like that. Every single one of you in this room have experienced it. You just didn't know how or why, but you know that feeling. You ever get that feeling where you're moving effortlessly like a river going downhill or something? You know what I mean? Is the river stop when it's going downhill? No. Like that. And like we say in our book, the problem is because of our beliefs and usually because of fear, we create this dam. And then when water gets dammed up, it's dam water, and guess what? It's all stagnant, yucky, and gross. And that's exactly what happens in a relationship. That we're arguing, our beliefs are arguing against each other instead of flowing with each other authentically. So let me ask you a question. There's so much more I want to say to you guys about belief. I am going to give us a few minutes to ask questions. And so if you're watching on Facebook Live, Steve, if you have to move on this side to look at the actual screen. If you have a question, Steve will look at it, and then we'll go from there. I'm glad I'm talking to you. So Steve is the man. I'm in my office with him, we're talking, and I'm describing some of this. Mostly it was about the fake suit. And he calmly, his type 6 personality is so beautiful, just so calm, sitting there, zero emotion. He responds to me, and I'm describing kind of like, just stepping out of that yucky person that wants to react in a needy victim way and something's missing. I'm talking about myself. To notice it, realize, and for me, I put this person, this fake suit on, and I just step out of the suit. Bam, I'm right inside who I really am. So I'm describing this to Steve, and Steve calmly says to me, oh, so what you're saying is you're striving not to be a better you. You're striving to be better at being you. I almost fell off my chair, didn't I? And I started screaming, dude, say it again! I turned around and he couldn't repeat it. And the reason why is it was an unconscious statement. It just came to him. And then once I primed it, then he repeated it, thank God, because both of us look at each other, dude, please repeat that. But folks, that's the core of my message. Everybody I talk to, what gives me the passion is, I want you to live out who you really are. I call it the true essence of who I believe God created you to be. But we hide behind these beliefs that suck. I mean, it just literally sucks the life out of us. And then we wonder why we aren't more successful. And I guarantee, in every one of your businesses, just like myself, my mistaken belief seemed very subtle, but I'm telling you guys, it was huge. If you listen to the podcast episode called "What's Your Kryptonite," That's literally my confession of what my kryptonite was. Why I stopped my podcast last September after 12 episodes. Because I believed my mistaken beliefs, and I kind of knew it, but I was busy. I had all these excuses. But the reason why I had excuses is because they correlated with my mistaken beliefs. It was easy. So the challenge I want to leave you guys with is a belief to start with. And that belief is accept and believe that you can change your direction by changing your beliefs. Going along with that is believe that you control your thoughts. You create new thoughts. Therefore, you can create new beliefs. Does that make sense? And then thirdly, I want to challenge you to have fun with your thoughts. Seriously. If you realize you have a feeling and all of a sudden you see this picture in your mind, stay in it and then just change it. And just see what happens. Then get out of it and go back in it and change it again. Make it funny, make it stupid, make it silly, whatever. You guys are going to freak if you really take me up on this. See, I was sitting in speakers like this throughout my life, and I was part of the 80% that didn't do it. When I started talking with my buddy Sean, even just 2 months ago, I just felt overwhelmingly convicted about how much I didn't do that. I just gained knowledge and gained knowledge while he was busy doing and radically changing his life. And so I was able to make some huge shifts in a matter of a short amount of time. Why? I already knew all this knowledge. I just had to just practice it. You know, what I see in my own clients. And that's one of my challenges for you today. Know that you can control your thoughts. Know that means you can change your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts, you can change your belief, which then changes your feelings and then changes your actions ultimately. So you want to change your actions? Start with your belief. That's why it's the magic of belief, you guys. Okay, I'm starting to stop you a little soon. So what questions do you guys have? If you have questions on Facebook, just type it in there and hopefully Steve will be able to see it with his glasses on. Anybody have a question?
I have a comment.
Yes,
There's
ma'am.
a book I'm reading called Biology of Belief.
Oh,
have you
Bruce
read it?
Lipton, baby.
Yeah, and so it's just a case in point.
Yeah, no, she just asked about Bruce Lipton's book and talk he does called Biology of Belief. When you guys have an hour and 15 minutes, I think it is, on YouTube, make sure you go to his posting of it, not somebody else's, and watch Biology of Belief. The difference, what she's talking about, it is the same, but he applies it literally down to a cellular level. It'll blow your minds. The power of your belief to affect even the biology of your body, down to the cellular level. I can tell you a few stories of clients I've had that is pretty amazing what can happen. You know, that's why, out of all, to illustrate what she's referring to, the #1 researched and used, what it's used for in hospitals is pain. Okay, now that's literally affecting your nervous system. Okay, I had a client who had intractable pain, for example, meaning she doesn't know where it is. It's just kind of like all over. And when she would have an episode, her pain would go, let's say, from a 5, bam, to a 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. And her perception, belief, her perception was she couldn't move. She could move. You know why I know that? 10% of, I believe, 10% of your nervous system are in pain receptors. That's it. So the fact that she was frozen had nothing to do with the pain. It's the perception of the pain. Okay? So within a matter of a couple sessions, actually, I taught her how to turn it down. And when the first time she did it, when she had an episode, her husband was sitting there. His mouth just dropped open because he saw the countenance and her whole physiology just changed in front of her. She went from like a stiff, it's hard to explain, to just soft and relaxed. And bam, just like that. So your mind and your beliefs can change everything. Let me give you another one of my beliefs, just 2 confessions. So my whole life, I always believed, when I heard the word hard, or then later on when I felt that it was hard, and this is really applicable for your businesses, my definition, belief, was that when I was younger, hard equals bad. Therefore, being the brilliant person I am, I come up with hard equals don't. Why the heck should I do it if it's bad? So now I'm older, and all that has to happen now is something just pushes me like that. It feels hard. Do you think I pursued it? No. Or if I was doing something and something happened to where I believe that it was hard, do you think I continued with it? No. I have a track record. We could be here for an hour probably talking about how things that I quit. I come up to the wall, belief. This wall is fictional. This wall is the wall you created by your beliefs. That's why some people's wall is there, and you go, why the heck? I have more talent than this. You know how many times I've said that? I have more talent than so and so and so and so and so and so. How come they're so successful? And I'm just like struggling. It's because I'm living out my beliefs. I'm demonstrating where my wall is. And if there's anything you take from this, maybe that's the best thing, is determine what is your wall. That's your beliefs. Do you have any questions, Steve?
No, there's a note from Sean on here. He talked about once the magician shows the step-by-step process of how the trick is done, it's never viewed the same way again.
That's awesome. Sean, I love you, buddy. That was awesome. I hate all those posts because I always never post my own posts because I just repost his. I love him. I'm just kidding. That's great. So yeah, when the magician shows you the trick, the wonder and awe of it is gone, and now you never see it the same way. Now you have the ability to do that. And seriously, guys, I did it with clients, and I just didn't take it serious for myself and apply it for myself. And the moment I did it, bam, change can happen that fast. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is really personal, but I'm going to give you an example. So my whole belief about money and success and everything totally shifted, and it happened really fast because I knew what I was doing. I just never did it for myself. 2 days ago, randomly, and it wasn't just the money, but randomly, a friend who I hadn't seen for a while gave me something. It was through their church or whatever, and I hadn't seen her or whatever, and she handed me a card and said they were told to give it to somebody that they really believe is affecting people's lives, and or have, that you're remembering them, something like that. So she hands me that, and I'm like, oh my God, I was like really moved. I opened her card, she wrote something really sweet, and I just began to weep. And in the card was 200 crisp dollar bills. So, and the thing about it was, I was so stoked, I literally took one of those $200 bills and gave it to a friend's son who's going on a mission trip. Why? Because money is energy. I just wanted to flow from me. I never did that in my life. I believed it, I taught it, I knew it, but I never practiced that. So I thought, okay, if you believe it, after you just practice it. Now, I wasn't looking for that, it just showed up. So I got a double whammy. I got amazing encouragement. I'm in Starbucks weeping in her arms. We're holding each other, crying. It was awesome. And then I had money to boot. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Anybody else have a question? Steve, you have one? Fine, don't ask me any questions. I hope they can hear me. I've got my mic and everything. Everybody else have any questions? Anybody? No, you're not in the room. You can't ask a question. No, I'm just kidding. What is it?
At what age do personalities start to? Is
Good
it something
question.
that evolves? Is it something that?
I'll tell you the answer with two different answers. Alfred Adler believed, he taught about a person's lifestyle. That's his way of moving through this world. That's how I describe it. He includes personality, but his description of personality is now different than mine. And he believed that by the age of 4 to 6 years old, your personality, well, I would say your personality is set. Your lifestyle, your way of moving is set. The Jesuits actually teach. I just found this out. This is fascinating. The Jesuits actually teach by the age of 7 years old, their belief system is set. So parents of young children, you are literally molding, fashioning how they're going to live their life. So you give in all the time. You say, like that friend of mine said, are you scared? What am I doing? My words and my energy is creating fear when there's literally no fear. This child has no fear. You're born with 2 fears. That's it. Fear of falling and loud noises. That's it. Every other fear is taught by us neurotic parents. Hence why I'm called a not so normal therapist, because we're all not so normal. The faster we admit that, the more normal, healthy we're going to live. So by the age of, I believe, 4 to 6, I agree with Adler. My experience with my clients matches that to a T. To a T. Isn't that amazing? Because a child does not have the critical factor of their conscious mind. So they're not filtering anything. Something happens, just goes in. And they're constantly, they're going like this, in essence. They're taking in data, constantly taking in data. That's all they're doing. Now, if the data only comes once, and there's no strong emotion or feeling tied to it, it kind of dissipates and it doesn't manifest itself. So think of it this way. I forgot to explain this because I just read this from a 1940 book by a guy named Neville Goddard. He describes the conscious and unconscious mind as male and female. In order to produce life, the male implants a seed. The seed, what do you call it? The seed germinates, or what do you call that? When it goes into the egg, right? Okay, then it grows and then produces life. That's exactly what happens to us. Our conscious mind is constantly feeding data. Now, when the critical factor is not there, we as parents are the one just putting in all that data. And usually it's defined through our feelings, and that's how it's filed away in the hard drive. And so it takes a root, it starts growing, and then all of a sudden you have, by the age of 6 years old, or 7, whatever you want to believe, it doesn't matter, this way of being called lifestyle. It gives birth to a life. The cool thing is, as humans, that God created us so geniusly that no matter where we're at, you can be 56 years old and change a belief that fast by manipulating your thoughts and refusing to be a victim of what everybody else says and what I'm saying to myself as a horrible hypnotist to myself. Isn't that awesome? So no matter what life you have, Al used to say this mantra, everything can always be different. I live by that. When I'm working with a client, I'm literally personifying that. I was like, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that everything can be different. It hasn't changed yet. It will. We'll figure it out. Because I know everything will or can be different. Because that's how incredibly we were created to use our minds. We just don't use it the way we're intended.
Didn't you just contradict yourself, though, by saying personality is fixed by the age of 7? If you can't change
I was
it?
waiting for you to challenge me.
Well, you know I will. I'm a behaviorist, not an learner.
I know you are. We'll discuss that another time, because I didn't, because I'm using the word personality. It's the way you and I are defining personality, I think, because I did the same thing with Adler, actually, because Adler defines personality differently, too.
Well, you probably should define what you mean by personality, because that's how they make use of what you're saying.
What time is it, by the way? Saved by the bell.
12:53, 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes, real fast. When I'm referring to personality, it's that fake self of strategies and mistaken beliefs that we've taught by the age of 6 or 7 to traverse this world. So I'm not talking about changing personality. I'm talking about not living by it anymore and believing it. I'm talking about stepping out of that fake suit and begin to show the world the true essence of who I believe God created you to be. And the purity. By the way, all 8 of those mistaken beliefs, 9 of those mistaken beliefs I gave you, there is a flip side of every single one of those. That is absolutely beautiful. Remember the one I went, the flip side of that is they literally personify courage. Steve. Personify courage. They just don't even realize and know it. And what's funny is the moment I speak into what I know the upside, the true essence of that person is, I watch their eyes and countenance, and I can see a shift. Nothing changes, and it necessarily could, but what I'm seeing is identification. Like when you see a picture, I show you a picture of your granddaughter. You don't have to say words. I can see in your face this right? That's the exact same thing, because you're identifying, you're relating with her. So that's how I define personality. I define personality, that set of strategies and beliefs that we've learned to traverse this world. But there's a flip side to that ugly nature of that we don't like, and you shouldn't like it. I think we should stop. Guys, thank you. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, shoot, keep that on. If you guys email me today, thank you so much. But you have to put a comment on this feed. You'll get a 25% discount on the video calls if you want to do one with me, okay? Love you guys. See you. Bye. Go ahead and shut it off. Hold on for a second. And you guys that are watching on the other centers, if you guys have this, it's 35% off of these individual sessions. I forget, it's like only 100 and something. I didn't do the math. So, and you gotta contact me today. And if you want to start with a 30-minute consultation, it'll still apply if you want to do that as well. So either talk to me afterward or shoot me an email, but it has to be today, because I believe in honoring people's initiative. You guys took the initiative to come down and sit in and stuff, so I greatly appreciate that, and thank you so much. So thank you guys. Love you. Bye.
Woo! Was that cool stuff or what, everyone? One more big round of applause, Anthony. Woo-hoo! Everybody has a survey in front of them, so we'd love to have you complete those. Tell him what an awesome job he did. Also,